Alright everyone, welcome back to another Regal Tails. That's where we left off. Well, Zuta still talking with Morn here. Let's get it. Morn, baffled at the wolf, blinking in pure disbelief, he stared off at Megina and digested the story. Okay then, I'll send a note of this to my men then. No touching of the lion cub, else he'll become a wall ornament. That goes for the rest of us. We're all family here. That includes Megina. She might as well be everyone's daughter. If the worst were to happen to Naja, you'd best think twice before laying a paw on the cub. Morn stared down at the zealous wolf with his idle threat. He took another sip of wine. There it is. There's that look in your eyes I've been waiting for. Zuta's brow. I keep saying bro. It's brow. My god, sleepy. Zuta's brow sunk into a piercing glare directed at the bull. It's just a glimmer, but I can see it. That Jaskaran death stare you all bring to battle. Can't be amazed to see it used in defense of a little girl. Morn stabbed into his plate of eggs and scarfed them down. He casually waved a fork in front of Zuta's chest. As much as her kind has been a pain in everyone's ass, I can't help but admit to having some respect for you. Just when I thought I'd figured you out already, you lot continue to surprise me. I guess that makes me a bad leader if I can't guess the enemy's next motives, huh? Zuta shrugged. Maybe. Not much for man of words here. Then again, maybe if you didn't stare longingly into my eyes, you might learn a thing or two about us. I wasn't. And what might that be? Well, for one, we don't have to go on in life being enemies. Morn chuckles with his arms crossed. And most importantly, Zuta snapped his fingers. A massive barrel was slammed between them, startling Morn as the Jaskaran waved a salute to Zuta. Where the hell did they? Zuta cut him off as he uncorked the barrel and fanned the fermented odor of wine around the campfire. He shot Morn a sly smirk. We Jaskarans can be the best damn party guests you could ever ask for. Morn cocked a bro. I keep saying bro, man. What's up, bro? Morn cocked a brow at the zealous wolf and paused in thought. A sly crooked smile crept its way across his maw. He took his cup of bitter coffee and emptied it out, handing it off to Zuta. Show me what you had in mind then, bub. Well, that's nice. That was a... Well. Will you look at this? I guess this is not so bad after all, huh? Peace. Many of the Imperial leaders were opposed to this, but ultimately they allowed the groups to converse with one another. General Pax issued Morn only fractions of the infantry to talk with the enemy camp and to oversee everything between the two camps. Morn agreed and readied himself for all the blame if anything horrible were to happen. By sundown, both Imperial and tribesmen alike started to engage in meals, stories, and even games. Every so often, everyone would glimpse over their leaders as they fought amongst themselves. When no progress or shift in power had occurred, everyone would return to their own business. My god, they're still fighting, bro. This is about to go to lunch. Lunchtime, to be exact. Megina excluded herself from the gathering and kept her supportive attention on her mother, all while fighting the constant need of falling asleep. To everyone's delight, once dusk had arrived, they found themselves getting along with one another, especially once dinner was served. Both parties enjoyed the foreign food being shared between one another. Midway into their meals, they heard a desperate roar coming from their leaders. Everyone froze in place, staring off to the fighting pit. Pit. Some troops and clansmen had grabbed a hold of one another, meekly threatening each other with spoons and butter knives. The moon shone bright that night, delivering a haunting spotlight on the two lions, who were heavily drenched in blood and covered in scars. Both lions delivered a devastating blow to each other's gut, leaving them both bent over breathless and resting on each other's shoulders for support. Solaire and Naja, in their mangled fur and torn clothing, used each other's foreheads to lean on. Naja, unaware of how scarcely her clothing covered her body, stared down at the battered emperor with her blackened eyes. You've got some nerve to last this long, highborn. Naja weakly gripped into the emperor's nose and water break. Yup, Sleepy needs to get hydrated, bro. Alright, just die already. Yeah, exactly. One of you needs to die. Even I'm getting shocked on how long this has been going. Dazed, Solaire batted her paw away. My dear, I'm not parting from this world. Not until I get my people back. He slipped his palm into Naya's windpipe and tried to choke her out, but Naja willed herself to muscle through his grip. I've traveled all the way from my kingdom to do just that, and I'll journey to the afterlife as well if I must. Naja shook his paw off with ease, but they knocked each other off balance, each of them now resting their chins on one another's shoulders. And here I thought it was an ego trip. You highborns normally enjoy using others to do your dirty work. The lords who kneel to might, the lords who kneel to might approve of it, but the Valar Empire will never stoop to such a desperate way of life. Naja grabbed at his ribcage. Grunting, Solaire gripped at the back of her hair, putting her away at an arm's length. He sank his claws into her scalp. Say and do what you will of me, but Valar never falter with their tails between their legs. He gripped Naya's head with both paws, piercing her flesh with his talons. I'll fight until my last breath, if I have to, and do whatever I must to make a better future for my people. Cringing at the stinging pain of Solaire's claws, Naja forcefully scooped her paws under his and clutched onto them with a tight grip. With her fingers trapped, she yanked and forced both of their arms down to their waists. A weak stare down sparked between their eyes as they tried to regain composure. Naja broke the tension with a soft giggle. Huh? What's so funny? Even when you come off beaten and serious, you still look like an adorable spoiled brat. Solaire muscled out a cocky grin. I'm flattered then. I failed to notice until now, but that black eye you gave you sure brings out the alluring blue in your eyes. Huh. Naja fluttered her eyes, wincing just slightly due to the searing pain. Bearing a toothy grin, she begins to laugh. My god, they're flirting now. Jeez, get a room or two. Aw, really? Solaire joined Naja in their hearty laughter. They gripped each other hard by the paws as they continued to laugh. At that moment, the friendly laughter turned into a snarling growl as they struck one another with a headbutt, knocking each other out. My god, finally the fight ended. A harsh vignette pulsated around Naya's blackened vision. She felt the pain from the fight, she couldn't deny that. She wallowed in her pain, unable to shake off a piercing feeling in her gut. She allowed herself a moment's rest before gritting her teeth, mustering the will to peel open her stinging eyes. A flurry of pain and confusion swept over the lioness as the nightly scenery finally hit her. She was alone on the battlefield, flat on her back, blood-stained metal protruding from her stomach. Naja was in shock, unable to believe what she was witnessing. Every fiber of her being screamed for her to get up. She ached out a bitter cry whilst willing herself up. Alright. This is badass. Once again, she a baddie, I told you, man. She a baddie. She staggered to her feet and gripped the hilt of the sword buried deep in her. Her wound slowly bled, but it didn't feel too threatening to keep in. Unable to afford the possibility of bleeding out, she did just that. She held the sword in place, trying to make sense of the scenery before her. A dying sandstorm obscured her vision as she tried to step forward. Searing white pain erupted suddenly from the wound. She could feel its cold metal burning in her core. She gasped out with a hot, dry mouth. Damn you, Solaire! What have you done? She fought through the pain, hobbling forward. With her throat ablaze, she cried out. Solaire! Yeah, I can't scream. Sorry about that. Zutu... Where is everyone? Naja ventured further into the howling sandstorm. The singing sand burned her eyes, battered her pelt until she saw it. Relief! It was a stream of water that ran between the wasteland and the forest. She's in all. I think this is like she's seeing the afterlife right now, or sorry, water break. This must be some kind of like an epiphany. I don't know. I don't know. Sleepy does not know. I have not experienced some kind of experience like that. Yeah. A primal surge of energy burst her toward the water. She staggered forward in pain and dove face first into the cold water. Sheesh! Naja didn't care. The cold flow of water rushed over her dried out body. Feeling cool and nourishing, she pulled herself up and lapped the running water up to her muzzle. Sorry, I just had to check the time. We're 11 minutes in. Alright. She drank deeply, not stopping even as her lungs ached for air. She coughed and sputtered, her eyes closed to the damning reflection in the water. Naja was battered and bruised. Her hair and fur were blackened with caked layers of her own blood. Her complexion was deprived altogether. Jeez. When she opened it, she saw it, the beaten lioness in the water. She couldn't believe the ghastly figure in the reflection was her. Yet the vision worsened as she looked on. She was struck by a haunting revelation once her vision had fully recovered. The water was tainted red. Well. I think like every single one of these can be like a wallpaper. No cap. No cap, Sleepy. No cap. She sprang to her feet, paralyzed in fear. At how gruesome the stream truly was, she drew her attention upstream to the source. Curiosity bested the lioness. She stumbled her way to the shoreline, trying to find any clue as to what happened. The sandstorm made it impossible though, as it began to pick up, blinding her field of view. The gut-wrenching pain washed over her as she held the sword in place. Blood seeped from the wound, but she trudged on for what felt like an hour to her. While the sandstorm raged on, Naja caught sight of something in the distance as it flew wildly toward her. She caught a glimpse of it, and as it got closer, it was her banner. Its burnt orange pattern was swiftly lost in the raging storm. With the banner gone, her attention found something she hadn't noticed before. Something that sent shivers down her spine. Zuta! The ghostly white wolf laid face down on the opposite side of the shore, blood pouring from him and seeping into the stream. Naja powered her way through the strong current of the stream, and through the pain to be by Zuta's side, she pulled him onto his back. His expression looked hollow and deprived of life. His entire chin from the neck down was drenched in his own blood. A harsh cough erupted from him and jostled him away. His hazy eyes peered up to his chieftain. Those mourning eyes she'd never forget. Naja! Ah! Blood spewed from his maw. Naja held into his paw while coaxing his head with comforting pets in her other paw. Shh! Zuta! Stay with me! Stay with me! Her eyes a-tongue with tears, she held her beloved companion tightly. Zuta. What happened? Zuta opened his maw, ready to speak, but coughed out a harsh spread of blood before muttering a single word. The plan didn't go as we hoped. The fallen wolf winces in agonizing pain. He whimpered and folded his ears back once his attention was directed towards the sword in Naya's gut. Wait, this is actually happening right now. What the fuck? No, I don't think it was the Emperor. I think they were ambushed, or there was some kind of betrayal happening inside the Emperor's inner court. I tried to stop them. What the hell happened, fam? His left paw hovered timidly towards the sword hilt. I failed you, Naja. I failed all of us. Naja looked at where his shaking paw was heading and found herself traumatized at it. It was his sword that had impaled her. Her petrified eyes shot up to meet his devastated gaze. I'm sorry. Naja shook her head feverishly, trying her best to comfort her best friend. No, don't be. You fought like a Shaskaran. I'm proud of you. Zuta whimpers, blood ran down his eyes, overcoming his tears as they joined with the river. His eyes drifted off aimlessly before being glued behind her. I couldn't protect her. He whimpers with harsh, shallow breaths before succumbing to the pain. He gasps his last breath before stiffening and finally falling lifeless. Man, I like the dude. I like this character, bro. Naya's gripped his paw tightly before pulling herself away for fear of breaking it. Her heart sank into a pitch-black void after witnessing the life of her most trusted companion leave right before her eyes. She rested her head on his, holding his paw one last time, placing it to her chest before resting it back down to his own. Man, this is fucked up, bro. This wasn't supposed to happen. It's either it actually happened or she got knocked the fuck out. What? The distraught lioness roared to the heavens with her mournful cries. She couldn't find the will to stand.